It's Leah Remillet with GoForProPhotos.com, and this is Video Friday, the place to be to polish up the professional side of photography. And I've got a fun topic for us today. Today we are going to talk about how to get your work published on the cover of a magazine. Okay, so how exactly do we do this? And I'm excited to share with you what I've done to make this happen. The very first step is just going to be to do some research and find out what publications are available in your area. If you are in or near any major cities, the great news is there are probably several publication options for you. For example, in my area there is a pet magazine, a bridal magazine, a family magazine, so there are several different options depending on what your niche may be. For me, being a family and children's photographer, that was of course the right place for me, and I happen to have two different magazine choices that I could go to. My first magazine choice was Vancouver Family Magazine, and my second was Portland Family Magazine. So let me give you a little bit of the story on how this all happened. Several years ago, I decided that I really wanted to get my work featured on Portland Family Magazine. Now, let me just let you know right now, this is probably not going to fill your schedule, but it does feel really cool and it looks really good when you can say on your website that you have been published and featured on such and such magazine. Instant credibility. So that was my intention going into it. I did some research on Portland Family Magazine. I read several articles, figured out who the editor was, and then specifically started looking for her articles in particular and reading up and getting to know her, as well as a little searching on LinkedIn and Facebook and places like that. I also went to the cover of their past several magazines to find out who they had been featuring it. Was it local photographers? Was it stock photography? Etc. Once I had that information, I was ready to send an email. But this email was not about what I wanted them to do for me, because if that was the case, it probably would have been deleted and they would have never gotten back to me. Instead, this email was all about the article that the editor had recently written and how much I enjoyed it and why. In addition to that, I then shared that I was a professional photographer and loved the magazine and would love to be involved with them. I attached a few images that I thought could make good cover images. Now this is important. I specifically attached those into the email because I did not want to expect to have her do the work of clicking on the link to my website to then see if I was good or not. I wanted to immediately give her a taste of what she could expect from my portfolio. So attaching those images to the email, giving some very sincere and genuine compliments about what I had learned and read from her, I sent it off. She responded quickly and was very excited. We went out to lunch soon after and I was featured on the cover of that magazine. Now, with Vancouver Family Magazine, same process to get going, but I found out with them that they had a whole year fully planned and themed for each month. So for example, one month might be babies, then seniors, then breast cancer awareness, then safety, all these different things. So I could pull images that specifically met their criteria for that month and then send over a few to see if they were interested in any of them. Turned out, eventually they emailed me and said, hey, we saw an image on your blog we'd really like to use on the cover. Could we have access to that? Of course, and here is the great news. They had learned that they could count on me. They knew that when they sent an email, they got an email right back. That when they needed something, I made sure it was exactly what they needed, stretched the canvas on the sides, whatever I needed to do. So they were confident and comfortable going right to my blog to basically use it as a stock photography place to check and see if something that I had would work for their cover. Big bonus for me. So here's the takeaway. If getting your work featured on a magazine sounds fun, recognize that it's probably not going to fill your schedule, as I said before, but it will add credibility to your name, and that is definitely worth something. So go ahead, do some research, find out what local magazines are in your area, and reach out. But make sure that when you're reaching out, it doesn't come across as, here's what I want you to do for me. Instead, send it off with, here's what I'd like to do for you. I hope you found this episode helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter so that you never miss a future episode and I can deliver inspiration right to your inbox to help you thrive as a professional photographer. photographer. This is my newest assistant. Sage, say hello. Say hello. Oh, thank you. I'm Leah's assistant, Sage. I lay the smack down. Wah! Oh, back to work now.